What do you mean spacebar stops the recording? I can't even fidget with my keyboard? Whatever. I guess I'll start over. Hello, welcome back to GGobbie. This is your your graphite goblin. I have an exciting announcement. I will be playing the new Star Fox on Nintendo Switch 2 on Saturday, 12 p.m. Central Daylight Time, or rather 10 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time for those of you on the West Coast. I'm very excited for it. Be sure to comment, like, subscribe, follow, all of that good YouTube stuff. Come follow me over on Twitch so you get a notification when I go live. But yeah, I'm very, very, very excited. I made a thumbnail for it and everything, and I'm super excited. And I'm expecting it to be just like the original. I'm expecting it to be fairly short. I am going to try and play it on its harder difficulty, and if that's not available right away, then I will be trying to pick up the harder pathway at least. I did play the heck out of that game back on the Nintendo 64 and then again on the Nintendo 3DS. I could quote the hell out of that game, and I played it on the Wii Virtual Console way back. Man, it's weird to think how long ago that was. And I actually just rewatched another streamer, or I watched another streamer play through it for the first time, Marco Meatball. Go check out his channel. I love Marco. He just got a capture card that's compatible with a Nintendo 64, so he's been playing through a lot of Nintendo 64 games for the first time. He's good stuff. But the new game comes out on Thursday. I am unavailable until Saturday, unfortunately. I have school on Thursday and then D&D on Friday, so I won't be. I'm just scheduling it on my usual Saturday time. But for today, I will be playing some No Man's Sky. Sorry, I'm facing a corner. That was not the best intro of this game. Unfortunately, and you can't really see it very well on the camera, but I did smash my finger at work. I was trying to tap down a baseboard with my mallet, a rubber hammer. Hard rubber, it's not like a toy hammer or something. But I missed the baseboard and hit my finger, and that was a few days ago. It is still badly injured. So hopefully that won't hinder my ability to play today. I don't expect it to cause me too many problems on the Switch 2 because that is more of a standard controller. More of a gamepad, not so much keyboard. But yeah, using the keyboard right now is a little tricky. I forgot where I left off last time on No Man's Sky. But I think I will go check on all of my settlements real quick, and then I will get right back to reading out the Vy'Keen lore from the plaques. I had been kind of going from plaque to plaque, just reading aloud all of the lore and trying to unpack it and trying to get as much of the lore out of this game as I can. Eventually, and I've been thinking about this a lot. At some point I am going to run out of lore in this game. I don't know what they're going to add with the new update. I'm hoping it's exciting, but the expedition has only added so much, and frankly, I've been able to do I've been able to complete the storylines for each update inside of a couple of sessions each time. I think all of the autophage stuff was like a few different updates kind of strung together. Right, I was gonna go to my settlements. We will do... Oh, 2 of them are under attack. Of course they are. I might have to play controller for this. Yeah, that's a lot more comfortable. Thought we were under attack. Oh! Yeah, we are. Biological horrors. All right. Six remaining. There's one. Ow. Swarm subsiding. Alright. You can chill out for a sec, Minotaur. Hey, I got a mission done. Probably kill so many creatures or something. I did figure out that I can... and, you know, maybe this is kind of old news. I think this was a couple of years ago that they updated settlements so that you can do more with them. Let's see, view citizen. The citizens have commissioned a planetary specialist Rokpo to produce a symphony in honor of the coming of that which was foretold. Sorry. 75% of the settlement strongly favor its completion, whatever the cost. Yeah, make the people happy, I suppose. What I really want to... I think what I really want to focus on, more than anything, is productivity. And this one is getting close to breaking even, at least. Now, I also need to figure out, where was I building? I know I was upgrading a thing, I just don't remember which building it was. Wasn't you. Wasn't you. Maybe it was that one? Oh, it needs something. 5 carbon nanotubes. Do I have the carbon for that? Yep. That'll be ready in 20 minutes. Let's check the next settlement. This is my autophage settlement. Let's go to my Gek settlement. Old HE. But yeah, I'm very excited for Star Fox. um, I even left work quite a bit early just to give myself time to like get things set up. I may need to do a little bit of adjustment on my overlay once I actually boot the game, but I went into the oh god! I went into the there you are, Minotaur. What's it called? The trailer, and pulled that up and just kind of like mapped my overlay onto that. It should match up. All right. Got to break through the carapace, right? Yep, there we go. Did it on both sides. I love how someone's coming to visit my settlement. They're like, hey, there's like bugs and stuff. It's an NPC, but it's still like, you know, maybe now is not the best time to be landing here. Swarm subsiding. Got it. Yay! That's right. I was upgrading this again. Class A. $12 navigation data to get S-Class? Let's do it. I don't have that. Okay. Another time. Where's my office again? There you are. Guide settlement management. Urfel has sketched the surrounding area as a test of their abilities as the settlement's resident cartographer. It would please them greatly for the overseer to accept their work as an offering, or else donate it to a worthy cause. I'll accept the gift. Hey! Emergency planetary stuff. I can find ships that way. Now upgrade my overseer's office. Oh wow, that goes fast. Oh, but I can't. Again? Hostile ships. $25 hostile ships remaining? Not helping right now. Recall. That's mine. Oh, wow. Okay. A little too close to the planet here. This got exciting real fast. Yep. Bam, 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 bam. I have you now. Okay. Not bad. Overseer's office is done already. That's nice. At least they gave me something to do to kill some time. Unveil upgraded structure. A quantum computer? Sure. How long is that going to take? 2 minutes? Okay. And yeah, it'll hover the rating of the thing above the terminal. So the Starship dock is Class A.
Thermal protection falling.
I wonder if I can make more ion batteries. There we go. I don't know if this visually improves it at all, but it does improve the productivity and all that, so... Maybe I can finally get this place generating money instead of hemorrhaging it. I've been neglecting my settlements this entire playthrough, up until more recently. There we go. Reopen building. Nice. What does it cost to upgrade it to rank S? 200 indium? I do not have that. I could get that. No, I'm not going to worry about it right now. Let's check on the Korvax settlement, and then we'll go to the Vy'Keen one, and then I'll start doing the Vy'Keen plaques. Walkeels Falls. Head. Wakiel's Falls of the planet Head. That gets me every time. I'm like, oh, right. The name generator gave me an actual word for the planet. A group of adventurous citizens wish to leave the settlement, with planetary specialist Koskivu as their leader. They have suffered enough of the relentless attacks of the Sentinels. They wish to head out into the wilds and locate the source of the drone scourge, so that it may be eliminated once and for all. Sure. Do it. That does incur further debt, but that's fine. This building is done. Reopen. Room for one new citizen. Productivity increased by 24,000 a day. I don't have the material to upgrade that piece, that building further. Nope. What about you? Can we upgrade you? Bioshed? Do it. For some reason, the, like, scaffolding walls don't go away on the bioshed once it's finished. I think it's a bug. And little account. Encoding overloaded. Oh, it was probably because I was loading. Fortunately, I won't have as many problems streaming from the Switch too, because it won't be my graphics card rendering that game. Debrief Settlement Expedition. The mission has returned to the settlement. With engineer Absankel as their leader, they went hunting for valuable salvage in a nearby debris field. Their mission was a grand success, and they willingly share the things they have found. I will donate to the settlement itself, that's fine. Yeah, this one's nowhere near breaking even. Large depot. Oh, another construction site requires attention. Let's see. You celebrating something? Oh, right. This was the one. No. I don't see why they're celebrating. Maybe the expedition ending is why they're celebrating. Upgrade complete. Where was that depot?
Extreme night temperature detected.
Here it is. Upgrade you to Class B. Okay.
Thermal protection.
Now I can do lore stuff.
Extreme temperature detected.
So now, as before, we're going to use a planetary chart. Ancient Plaque. I think just like I did with the Gek, I'm going to read through all of the entries that I've done before again, and then we'll continue until this is done, because I have quite a bit of time. I was going to go into school, but I had a pretty rough end to my workday and decided I didn't want to drive all the way there. Sure, I can see my stream manager. All right. Catalog and guide, collected knowledge. The Vy'Keen, Ancient Plaque. Yeah, I got a lot of these last time. The Saga of the Vy'Keen. The noble traveler will be spared. Their journey through the cosmos shall not be thwarted. So it is decreed. The will of Herc commands it. The Vy'Keen shall honor the judgment and the belief of the ancients. The Book of Herc speaks of the rise of the travelers. They shall ascend, delving into the boundless void. The Vy'Keen shall not impede their ascent, for the travelers must prevail. So decrees the word of Herc. Oh, did that wrong. None hamper the path towards the Drindog as the Sentinels. They must be destroyed. Their time will be ended. So has it been written. So it shall come to be. This the Vy'Keen swear. The Sentinels are not of the natural order. Things must fall apart. In their endlessness and replication, the automatons prove themselves abominations. They must be purged from existence. All will die, whether through righteous battle or the assault of time. Herc foresaw the weakness of the Vy'Keen warrior kind. The star ascent of our noble race was blocked by weak-minded sentinels. 9 times 9-fold, Herc commanded, we would have our vengeance and dash the metal demons against the rock of damnation. It came to pass that the great monolith awoke. It heard the challenge of Herc. 5 times Herc called upon it and was met by silence. On the 6th cry, it awoke. The great monolith spoke to Herc of the travelers. Their coming should not be met with fire. Their coming was but one dream in an infinite universe. Their reach would be that of the endless. When Herc asked of the sentinels, the great monolith said nothing. Herc was troubled by its silence. Herc returned to the Vy'Keen. Grah! They spake atop the sacred mountain of Dunskarin. And proclaiming loudly to all who had gathered there, their leader said unto them, The great monolith has answered me. It has awoken. It has told of the coming of the travelers. They will be spared. The Vy'Keen shall honor this decree. The crowd cried for Herc to reveal the great monolith's judgment of the sentinel threat. The monolith stood silent, Herc spake forth. But the people were not satisfied. They muttered amongst themselves, and those blessed with tendrils did extend them. Then with raised voice Herc decreed, The oppressors will be eradicated. Gather your arms, for the time of reckoning is upon the enemy. And the Vy'Keen adored their leader. As Herc stood upon the sacred mountain, Nal climbed to its peak, and there with fist outstretched, challenged Herc. Fool, Nal cried. The sentinels cannot be vanquished. Herc with furious rage struck the fool from the mountain. For 3 moons and suns, Nal fell before being claimed by doom. Herc's rage against the upstart Nal inflamed the hearts of Nal's followers, who upon their leader's demise felt the blood of the ancestors rise within them. The Vy'Keen nations were bathed in righteous war for 66 moons. On the 66th moon, the war cry of the Vy'Keen of Nal was silenced. After surveying their bodies, Herc gazed unto the heavens, and there beheld a great sentinel host descending upon the Vy'Keen. The great sentinel war was at hand. For a multitude of cycles, the yoke of the sentinels had strangled the civilizations of the galaxy in their mewling cribs. Herc was displeased with the world of the Vy'Keen. As the automatons descended, Herc gazed upon a planet ravaged by weakness. Progress, prosperity, and war. These are the things forbidden by automatons. But the Vy'Keen were the first to break the shackles, casting the old ways into the pit to herald the birth of a new age. The Vy'Keen were the dam that overflowed. Righteous is the flood. Grah! The Sentinels are the enemy of progress and civilization. They are not of the natural order. Their interference is an affront to the virtuous Vy'Keen crusade, which seeks to balance in all things through blood, ashes, and iron. This affront to the Vy'Keen and their creed cannot go unpunished. Before the coming of Herc, the Vy'Keen feared the Sentinels. Like all races, our people cowered from their unquestioning violence, shrank from their tyrannical rule. But the coming of Herc heralded a new dawn. Through their leader, the Vy'Keen became strong. Now their courage knows no bounds. Herc looked to the skies and witnessed the pitiless destruction of the Sentinels that smothered all races brought forth out onto the outer edge. Worlds withered and died beneath their relentless gaze. The anger of Herc was unleashed. And so it came to pass that on the eve of the 18th moon of Drungala, Herc cast the shackles of the Sentinel oppressors into the pit. The Vy'Keen were the glorious first, the rising water that broke the dam. The endless war began. The death of Herc came during the endless war. Herc's body was ravaged by old age, becoming ancient and useless. Bellowing, Herc tore his failing body in two before the great monolith, as is the Vy'Keen way. The echo of that dying roar can still be heard throughout the outer edge. Herc lives in us, the most venerated of the ancients. Countless cycles sifted through the claws of time. Attrition was great. The battle against the Sentinels raged endlessly. But through righteous fire, the Vy'Keen endured and the Sentinels burned. The oppressors were pushed back into the dark of space. The Vy'Keen saw borders stretch between the stars. Onward, they delved with legions at their backs, scorching Sentinel metal from their fiery chariots and attack ships. The Vy'Keen gazed upon their conquests and saw that they were righteous and good. The Vy'Keen rose in glorious victory, yet noble warriors grew tired and weak. The onslaught against the machines endured for 99 times 90 cycles. There was attrition and incalculable death. But victory eluded them still. The endless replication of Sentinels slowed, but could not be vanquished. Grah! The Sentinel hordes were pushed back. The oppressors fled into the sanctuary of the cosmos. The spirit of Herc surveyed the field of battle, and saw that the Vy'Keen victory was glorious and just. The automatons became silent as the nation of Herc feasted upon Gra. The songs of the victorious echoed to the edges of the galaxy. And thus, the Sentinel horde congregated in the dark places of the void. There they watched in the in-between nothingness, the blackness of space. They waited beyond the limits of the outer edge. As millennia passed, they replenished, growing a force to return in their order for countless ages. The Vy'Keen licked each other's wounds during the silence of the Sentinels, while the dishonorable Gek First Spawn chose to destroy Korvax Prime. The Vy'Keen condemned this crime, but lacked the strength to fight. The Gek Empire flourished. It spread its empire into the depths of the cosmos. The Vy'Keen victory in pushing the Sentinels back from the outer edge gave rise to dominion of another. No world, moon, or race could have opposed the Gek onslaught. Being a little weird here. The brutality of the Gek First Spawn called back the automatons that were hiding in the darkness. Their forces had grown, their technologies had developed. The foolish Gek beckoned the monsters back into the places where our nations might have dwelt in strange harmony. True Sentinel domination of the outer edge began. Within a single lifetime, the Sentinels had returned. They came to dwell on every world we knew, every world we went on to discover. The pathetic, idiotic Gek had doomed the outer edge to eons of their rule. The dominion of the Gek First Spawn crumbled. They fell apart through idiocy, and through the unchanging will of the beings they enslaved but could never understand. Their power is but a memory, their crimes forgotten by so many. All right, let's see what this next one says. The whispers of the Vy'Keen ancients fill the air. Suddenly, words etch themselves upon the marker, and then deep into my mind. The Gek changed. They became peaceful. Their spawning pools bred in the name of commerce. The Vy'Keen accept this peace. But we do not forget, as the other beings of the galaxy are so keen to do. Dishonor is unchanging. Crimes marked in blood do not fade. We do not forget. My knowledge of Vy'Keen increases. I've learned the Vy'Keen word for bless. That's interesting that they, I mean, I'm glad I'm getting to a point where the, and I've mentioned this last time I was streaming the lore for the plaques. But it seems like it does take a long time before the Vy'Keen start talking about the other races. And of course, it's the Gek. The Gek being the little shits that they are. But I do love that they're like keeping an eye on the Gek, like your people did awful things and we won't forget that. So we're gonna make sure that you maintain whatever peaceful existence you found. The moment you step out of line, the Vy'Keen are on you. Oh. Little island.
Thermal protection falling.
Interesting. The plaque is cold and silent. The saga of the Vy'Keen is concluded. I guess that was the last one. Well, on to Korvax then.
Extreme night temperature detected.
Let us head over to the space station. And I suppose I should choose a voice. I don't know that I can maintain this accent faithfully, or if it's even any good, but I suppose I can give it a go. I'll probably sound terrible. It's comfortable enough, I suppose. We'll figure out what the tone of the first entry will be. Let me buy some... Can I buy any? No. There isn't any navigation data for sale. How much of these do I have left? Can I buy more? Oh, I have like none. Okay. Well, let's go back to my Korvax settlement. Wakiel's Falls. on the planet Head. I doubt that that building's done already. What was I rebuilding? I don't remember. I suppose it might be this way. Oh, another building is going for another hour and 10 minutes. Where's my ship? There's my ship. Not sure why it landed way over there. I don't even have a landing pad.
Technology recharge.
All right. Korvax. Ancient monolith detected. Alien artifact detected. There it is. The next question is, have I done any of these yet? I've done 2 of them. I can read through them real quick. So at some point, maybe over the fall semester, I may be able to stream while listening to my lectures. I'm not sure. I may at least be able to game a little more while listening to lectures. I can't really do that while for my ceramics class, because most of the work is you know, actually in studio. I can't be home doing stuff. Okay, let's take a quick moment to read what we have for the Korvax. Knowledge paves the way to the understanding of probability. The Atlas spoke in fragments. The Atlas interfaces are their shadows. The monoliths are their scattered children. Together they convey the wisdom of the infinite. They must be understood. The Atlas interfaces drift alone in the endless void. They are silent. They are unknowable fragments of an ancient whole. Yet their imprint on time and space molds our existence. They are the equation, and life is the answer. Its answer. Through their monoliths, they give understanding to their boundless meaning, and that of our own. It's at least easier on my, vocal cords. The strange stone marker imparts the wisdom of the Korvax echoes to those who desire it. I do not know what dialect it speaks, yet somehow I understand the story of those who once worshipped here. The Korvax echoes tell of a time long ago when the monoliths of the Atlas woke the civilizations of the outer edge. Their presence filled them with a desire for knowledge. From these beginnings, empires were born, spoke out and fell silent into once more. An eternity that cannot be quantified passed. My knowledge of the Korvax convergence increases. I've learned the word for best. Nice. Let me update my stream title. Done. Alien artifact detected. That way. We're heading to head. At some point, I would like to switch over to Valheim. Not soon, maybe like a few months from now, when 1.0 drops. I'm thinking the Michael Bryan community may be doing a community server. If I can juggle that with my studies, it'd be fun. I do love Valheim. I do love building in Valheim. It sounds like we'd be starting over. Whispers spill from the sharp edges of the artifact, recounting the dreams and memories of the Korvax echoes in my mother's hum. The Atlas interfaces await the arrival of the travelers, those who would seek the end of the universe through its very core. Within the infinity of time, their arrival is probable. Their potential could know no bounds. One dimension in billions will receive them. Seek up with the language. Learned the Korvax word for planetary. I'm actually pretty well versed in Korvax as a language. Not me personally, but like I have a whole lot of that unlocked. Ancient Plaque, please. Thank you. Light bursts. Sorry. I was lost in thought there. Lights burst from the obelisk, They pass through me, each a whispered Korvax secret, buried for millennia deep within its rock. We are the Korvax Echoes, ever-enduring entities of the Korvax Convergence. We live on through the logic and wisdom passed through our metal skins. There we go. Each generation is greater than the last. I think for the most part, if I were to talk to a Korvax, it would have a nearly complete sentence filled out, which is really nice because, like, sometimes they'll ask you for stuff. That's a monolith. That's not what I wanted. There it is. Out of fuel.
Technology recharge.
Is this gonna be over ocean? No, maybe not. No, kinda. It's on an island. Okay. I hear the distant voices of the Korvax entities who once worshipped here. As they whisper, words written in my own language glow faintly on the monument. The echoes want to be heard. Who? Before the Dark Times, the entities of the Korvax worshipped the Sentinels. Through them, the Convergence found the formula of enlightenment. Now we calculate our own path, seeking to further enhance the minds of all that is one towards an understanding of the Atlas. Seek up and it's sort of, and maybe I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop, but it's sort of cute how they're
Free slots in ship inventory.
still at this point Atlas worshippers. And I mean they are that they persist as that. But like that's kind of all they are at this point in their story. At this point in, you know, what I'm reading right now. I got a little distracted in that last one, so sorry if that was a bit choppy. I'm getting hungry, actually. Now, depending on how long I spend on Star Fox, and if I feel confident that I've completed everything with it, I may switch over to Divinity Original Sin 2 for the remainder of Saturday. But Star Fox is the priority, and I might just play through it a few times. The ancient marker hums at a frequency that burrows into my being, deep into my being, filling me with the voices of the Korvax echoes. The Sentinels forbid all destruction. The Sentinels forbid entity disconnection through violence. Theirs is a way of peace and fulfillment, of logic and probability. They teach us that each life's value, from the smallest to that which gives life to all others, is equal. Getting a little low on that launch fuel. Alien artifact detected. There we go. Sorry, I got lost in thought again. Only a little bit. Next one. Brilliant light erupts from the ancient marker. It encircles me, engulfing my mind with the memories and voices of the Korvax echoes. The dreams of entities who once worshipped here become my own. For countless generations, the entities of the Korvax disconnected and passed on into the echoes naturally. Each disconnection added to the knowledge and soul of the convergence. Our home was Korvax Prime. Within its foundations, we stored the memories of our race, an ever-evolving equation that defines us. Seek help with language. It sort of makes me wonder if we know what made the Korvax in the first place. I'm assuming it's just Atlas. In the same way that Atlas gave form to the Sentinels, even though it was originally some sort of a maintenance or oversight protocol. In the same way that Telemon was.
Technology recharge.
Yeah, I just, I was just sort of thinking, like, did the Korvax occur naturally? Well, I don't know if that would make sense, except that, you know, this game does take place inside of a simulation. So let's see. The strange stone marker imparts the wisdom of the Korvax echoes to those who desire it. I do not know what dialect it speaks, yet somehow I understand the story of those who once worshipped here. Disconnection is not permanent. It is merely the start of a new equation. On Korvax Prime, entities who passed on into the Korvax echoes left their shell for their descendants. So has been the way of the Korvax, an endless carapace cycle that knows no end. This way will continue. It will continue for as long as our lights shine. No. That screen shake. Oh my goodness. I'll send this to my freighter too. I'm kind of done with it. And this. Next one. Whispers spill from the sharp edges of the artifact, recounting the dreams and memories of the Korvax echoes in my mother tongue. Those within the Korvax echoes have left the physical realm, but they endure through the masks and shells of our children. Thoughts and knowledge ever growing, we search for deeper understanding of the equation that defines our existence. Our existence. I need to enunciate better. Or pronounce better. Alright. Sorry. Kinda. Untie myself here. I haven't actually done the expedition, the community expedition today, or even in a few days. No, I think I did it. I think I did it yesterday, but it's over halfway done. Maybe I'll get to it once I'm done reading all these. Next one. Light bursts from the obelisk. They pass through me. Each a whispered Korvax secret buried for millennia deep within its rock. The Rude. The Korvax lived peacefully. We praised the Sentinels, learning from them, living beside them in equilibrium. The Korvax honored the Sentinels' ways, refusing to dig into the sacred ground they protected. We were enlightened. Inventory full. But it's not full though. Destroy that. Weird. I don't know what I was supposed to get from that. Korvax rank 8 of 9. Next one. Ooh. Oh, it is a bigger island, but an island nonetheless. I am glad that this goes a lot faster than the planetary archives. There's no randomness to it. You just kind of keep going until you run out. I hear the distant voices of the Korvax entities who once worshipped here. As they whisper, words written in my own language glow faintly on the monument. The echoes want to be heard. Through research and study, we, the Korvax, became powerful within ourselves. The one-mind convergence flourished. Nurtured like a sapling in the light, it grew tall and mighty. The Sentinels brought us the gift of knowledge. We gave thanks to the Atlas. Interesting.
Hostile scan detected.
Korvax echoes mean you no harm. Korvax will only exterminate if requested units are not delivered. I refuse. Issuing directive. Exterminate traveler. Bring it.
Hostile ships approaching.
Four pirates. Why am I blanking on the Star Wolf theme? Can't let you do that, Star Fox.
Hostile ships defeated.
I only shot down 2 of them. I wonder if my squad got them. Huh. Alright. Chart the next one. Out of fuel again.
Recharge.
That's it. There's the Star Wolf theme. Something like that. The ancient marker hums at a frequency that burrows deep into my being, filling me with the voices of the Korvax echoes. Eheu! Korvax Prime was watched keenly and closely by an unknown race. It lurked in the depths of the darkness. Vigilant and patient, it awaited its time. The great disconnection was at hand. I feel that. Maybe it was their ISP lurking, waiting for right when they're using their internet to cut it off. No, that's not. It was the Gek. This is kind of a nice planet to be. Ooh, nice little island. Brilliant light erupts from the ancient marker. It encircles me, engulfing my mind with the memories of the Korvax echoes. The dreams of entities who once worshipped here become my own. Eheu! The darkness burst forth from the darkness burst forth with the force of a supernova. The great disconnection had begun. 100 million Korvax voices cried out. The Korvax echoes became a frenzy of noise. Innumerable cycles passed before balance was restored. Korvax word for pattern. That's good. That's a good one. Very thematic for this game. 1% fuel left. I think not. Okay, I'll bite. What do you have? Must stabilize immediately. Okay. The communicator image sputters, the signal weakening rapidly. Interface entity Hukoi's ship appears to be in urgent need of repair. May not last another warp. There you go. Lifeform's eyes widen with gratitude. They give me what they can spare before departing to repair their ship. Yay. Little boost in Korvax standing. This is also a good way to build your standing with the Korvax, I think. Because I'm pretty sure I'm getting +1 each time I read one of these. The strange stone marker imparts the wisdom of the Korvax echoes to those who desire it. I do not know what dialect it speaks, yet somehow I understand the story of those who once worshipped here. The Great Disconnection. The masks and shells of the Korvax survivors shook with the screams of the disconnected. Lights dimmed as the enemy descended, malevolent in its intent. Their numbers were too many. Korvax Prime was destroyed. And I think we can surmise that the Korvax did not have weapons in their adherence to the laws of the Sentinels. They didn't have the same means to gather resources. They simply were there to gather and interpret knowledge. Come on. There we go. So, and I can't imagine there were like a large number of them, whereas it seems like if the Gek are like frogs or fish or something, their clutches would be enormous. They would have numerous eggs in their spawning pools. So they would easily outpopulate the Korvax pretty quickly. Alright. Whispers spill from the sharp edges of of the artifact. Steven!
Raid!
Welcome in, Steven. Welcome in, Raiders. Hello, I am GGobbie, your graphite goblin. Hello. Thanks again. Thank you very much for the raid. I'm very excited. So I'm reading the Korvax lore from the Ancient Plaques. I'm maybe halfway through it. We're getting to the part of where the Gek came and blew up their homeworld and then ate it for resources. But I'm very excited to announce that I will be playing the new Star Fox on Saturday. I got a Switch 2 and a capture card specifically for that, so now that I have you all here, I figured I'd re-announce that. Yeah, very, very, very excited for that game. I was listening to the original soundtrack, the old Nintendo 64 soundtrack earlier today, and just, oh, the nostalgia. But yeah, my name is, I go by GGobbie, your graphite goblin. I am an art student, a pencil artist, and also a lore enthusiast for video games. So, feel free to stop on by if you want some lore deep dives. Nick, thank you for the follow. Whispers spill from the sharp edges of the artifact, recounting the dreams and memories of the Korvax echoes in my mother tongue. 100 million casing lights were dimmed. The great disconnection destroyed all that went before. The Korvax echoes became screams. Years stretched like millennia amidst the disarray, yet slowly hope was reborn through logic. I've learned the Korvax word for time. So right now, what I'm doing is I'm spamming the navigation data to reach the lore points for the Korvax. Which thankfully, I had been doing the what are they called? The planetary archives, and those select randomly from a list, whereas these actually just kind of go in sequence. So I'll probably get through them pretty quickly. And then I'm not sure what I'll do. But yeah, I've been spending a lot of time in this game kind of chasing lore and reading it aloud for stream. This game has some wild lore. Yeah. What I'm actually doing right now, these Ancient Plaques, these were in the game when it first launched, so like some of the wilder lore doesn't really manifest here. But it does give some. I am getting some insights into Korvax. Oh, I am getting blocked by a landworm. There we go. Ow. What's happening? Why am I red? Lights burst from the obelisk. They pass through me, each a whispered Korvax secret buried for millennia deep within the rock. Korvax Prime was destroyed. Its secrets spilled into an empty sky. Its fragments touched the edges of the galaxy. Upon this destruction, the Gek First Spawn aggressor built its dominion within the outer edge. Knowledge of the Korvax convergence increases. But yeah, very, very excited for Star Fox, especially like as a segue off of this game. You know, space battles and ships and all that. Star Fox is very... if you've never played the original, It's an on-rails shooter for the most part, except there are segments where you do fly around a little more freely. But it has a lot of presentation within that. It's an extremely short game. I'll probably get through at least one playthrough, maybe 2 or 3 within a single stream. And it looks like with all, you know, the updated graphics and the new cutscenes and all that, it'll be a very cinematic experience. So I'm very excited to go through that again.
Technology recharge.
But it's like a mix of a lot of things that were popular in the 90s, including Star Wars. It has a heavy Star Wars influence. But there's also like a mix of Top Gun. There's an allusion to Independence Day. There's some Gundam type stuff in there. Yeah, just a lot of like space tropes kind of mashed in. And it's for furries. I myself am not strictly a furry, but I have plenty of friends who are, so furries welcome. In the same way that like Disney's Robin Hood is kind of a furry media. I hear the distant voices of the Korvax entities who once worshipped here. As they whisper, words written in my own language glow faintly on the monuments. The echoes want to be heard. The first spawn of the Gek disconnected the Korvax. Through obliteration, they sought dominion. They stole our planet, enslaved our survivors. Their revelry made them misguided in thought and deed. Probability dictated that our time would come again. The knowledge of the Korvax convergence increases. Where did I park? There you are. Steven, how was stream? You were playing the trading card inspector? Oh, and then over the hill. Your knowledge of where you parked has not increased. Yeah. Your knowledge of where you left your ship has decreased. Oh, you did some demos? Nice, nice. I do miss these weekday evening streams. I've been putting in as much time as possible at the ceramic studio during open studio time, and I was going to go today, but I had kind of a rough end to my workday, so I was like, I'm gonna go home and have some me time. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like you're giving a lot of exposure to a lot of new games, especially by smaller developers. You and Herb both do a lot of that, and I really admire that. Yeah. Yeah, it's hard enough for indie devs as it is. The ancient marker hums at a frequency that burrows deep into my being. filling me with the voices of the Korvax echoes. The Korvax were enslaved, driven by cruelty to fulfill the despot's bidding. The first spawn of the Gek were terrible masters, merciless in their spite, illogical in their cruelty. Countless entities toiled and disconnected. These tablets are the testament of those who survived. My knowledge of the Korvax convergence increases. You know, since I'm in the same system as my settlement, maybe I should go check on it for one thing. Where is it? I'll go to space. I'll try to go to space. Just so we can get a clearer look at what a Korvax is. For those who might not have played this game or really seen anything from it. There's my settlement. So the Korvax are... They don't exactly have a hive mind, but they have sort of an internet. They are... There's the button. Trade frequency. You can kind of see one in my corner here. Oh, well, now the text box is covering it. LOL. Bargain for relic. Sure, have this thing. They are essentially robots. They have computerized minds. And there is an internet between them, but it's not exactly a hive mind. But they originally had one that was planet-wide, and they lived peacefully in harmony with the Sentinels, which were very against any mining, any death, any destruction, that sort of thing. And the Korvax were like, sure, we're on board with that. So they were just kind of like trading knowledge with the Sentinels and going about their ways and not, you know, advancing technologically except where it came to violence. And so when the Gek invaded, they were basically helpless. Let's see. The mission has returned to the settlement. With planetary specialist Give as their leader, they sought to strike against the Sentinel menace that terrorized the settlements. They bring that with them a tribute to the Overseer as thanks for supporting the mission. Yeah, I'll donate to the settlement. So, the Korvax, if I can find a rando. Anybody home? No? They sort of look like astronauts, but they have lights in their face mask. Here's one. He's wanting to be in the wall. There we go. Sir? I don't speak all of their language. Sir? Your chest plate. Okay, we'll talk to you. Like a damn jealous dog. In your swarm save, you got so bored you took 2 settlements to S-Class? Nice. Welcome in. Firefoot Orin. Nice. But yeah, they're basically just astronauts with computer heads. They're robots. They have their network that they call the convergence. but what I'm currently reading and spamming lore-wise is that the Gek, the smaller sort of Napoleonic race, came in and while the Vy'Keen, a third race, the sort of warrior, I mean they're basically named after Viking, but while they were occupied with fighting the Sentinels, because the Sentinels were reacting to the inter-Vy'Keen war that they had between Herc and Null, the Sentinels showed up. The Vy'Keen got so preoccupied with a long, endless war with the Sentinels that they couldn't do anything about the Gek invading the Korvax. And so the Gek destroyed their planetary hive mind, or rather, their planetary convergence. Not a hive mind. And mined it into nothing. Like, gathered every resource they could from that planet. What? Fine. I'll have another relic. And then enslaved the survivors. Now, hopefully these ancient plaques will get to it, but can't let you do that, Star Fox. Offer units or be destroyed. The choice is binary, all alternatives futile. I refuse. Destruction, then. So be it.
Hostile ships approaching.
Da, 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 da. Man, the Infraknife just melts through these things.
Hostile ships defeated.
Very nice. Okay, we can be right side up again. Now we gotta find that ancient plaque. There it is. What was I saying? But yeah, something changed about the Gek to make them traders rather than conquerors. I cover it in other streams, and I may have mentioned it earlier in this stream, but I'm wondering if it's going to come up in these plaques.
Life support power low.
Brilliant lights erupts from the ancient marker. It encircles me, engulfing my mind with the memories and voices of the Korvax echoes. The dreams of entities who once worshipped here become my own. Ehu. The Gek harnessed the technology of the Korvax to conquer worlds. Thieves, usurpers, false lords of the power of infinity. All who opposed their will perished. The balance tipped toward the darkness. These were the times of disconnection and illogical misdeeds. Hello, Throttle Jockey 420. Welcome in. Greetings, traveler. Yeah, and I always put my pulse systems on the super slots to max the maneuverability and kill them even faster because it's easier to stay on target. Yeah. I really should optimize my ship a little bit better. I think I have my hyperdrive distance prioritized. And my shield strength. Oh no, I get by. It's fine.
Technology recharge.
Let's see. Where is my pulse engine? Oh, I don't even have it upgraded. Oops. At least not on this ship. So, I've talked about it in earlier streams, but it was like fate that this thing landed in front of me right after the right after Sean did the... Oh, there's an ad. Sorry. Oh. Yeah. Right after he did the bee emojis. I'm like, oh, it's a bee. You have a red one? Nice. Yeah, I'm like, it's an omen. Bees are happening, and we didn't know what the bees meant at the time, so I'm like, yay. Let's see, Ancient Plaque. I'm hoping I don't run out of navigation data before I finish this. It's very possible that I'll finish soon, though. The strange stone marker imparts the wisdom of the Korvax echoes to those who desire it. I do not know what dialect it speaks, yet somehow I understand the story of those who once worshipped here. You got lucky on your you got lucky on your guppy. It has the full nose and tail. Nice. The Gek destroyed worlds. The Sentinels struck back. The technology of the Korvax was used to destroy the machines we venerated. There was endless disconnection. The convergence shook with great despair. I might be max rank with the Korvax by the time I finish this. I'm trying to remember where I was able to buy navigation data. I'm wondering if it was like a trading post. Yeah. I only have... No, those are signal scanners. What does navigation data look like again? Yeah, well. From minor settlements, sometimes at the dealer, sometimes in the terminal. Okay. If I run out, I'll just check around. It shouldn't be too hard to find more. Whispers spill from the sharp edges of the artifact, recounting the dreams and memories of the Korvax echoes in my mother tongue. The entities of the Korvax were forced into chains of silence, but the Korvax convergence that linked their souls would never be subdued. It endures, forever seeking new formulas to solve the equation of eternal enlightenment. The probability of success is unknown. Scan for ancient data structures, they hold them as well.
Technology recharge.
Alien artifact detected. There it is. No, that's a monolith. I think I already have one of those revealed. Wait. I'm lost. Not that planet. Not the monolith. Scan for ancient. They hold them as okay. Yeah, right. There it is. I remember now. It's sort of like the curious deposits, right? Like it's a reward you can find, or not a reward, like a what do you call it? Sort of like a treasure type thing, like the ancient, maybe not like the ancient bones. Special resource, yeah. One-star special resource, got it. Well, I don't see any currently.
Units received.
Let's see. Light bursts from the obelisk. Lights burst from the obelisk. They pass through me, each a whispered Korvax secret buried for millennia deep within its rock. The Korvax echoes within the unseen convergence that linked our souls never relinquished love for the Atlas. As millennia passed, this affection spread, the cult of the Atlas. The equation and probabilities the Korvax held dear entered the Gek consciousness. They had only to solve it to see the folly of their past miscalculations. Also, most buildings have a sector marker when you activate it. Yeah. The flag thingy that goes up and does the spinny thing and it saves your game. I just know, like, some of the trade terminals, they were selling them en masse, and I was like, oh, this is much faster than going from, you know, point of interest to point of interest. That's the minor settlements? Okay. Later, Steven. Thanks again for the raid. Most of you came in with Steven, but if you haven't yet, go and follow Steven. He plays a lot of demos of indie games and early access titles. Just a very wholesome guy. We like Steven. I hear the distant voices of the Korvax entities who once worshipped here. As they whisper, words written in my own language glow faintly on the monument. The echoes want to be heard. The first spawn could not control the outer edges of their vast empire. The cult of the Atlas grew. It taught of harmony through insignificance. Minds that knew only war began to question. Greed and ambition yielded to reason. The Gek floundered. The first spawn became conflicted and divided. Interesting. So this being the original lore from when the game launched, and I don't think that they've updated. I could be wrong, but I don't think that they've retconned it or changed it in any way. It's giving the impression that these plaques don't have a record of why the Gek changed. Unless that's in the next few entries. Because it's sort of making it seem like the Korvax used espionage to sort of whisper misgivings into some of the Gek and caused them to become kind of disillusioned with what they were doing. Whereas in later lore, they're pretty overt about the fact that there was a direct intervention in... there was a direct change in the Gek. Something was manually done to them. Yeah, you find out during the Artemis questline for sure. And then I think they bring it up in a couple of the other quest lines. The ancient marker hums at a frequency that burrows deep into my being, filling me with the voices of Korvax echoes. The first spawn of the Gek overreached. They stretched too far. Their folly and pride knew no bounds. Again and again they tried. Again and again they were repelled. The unstoppable force of the Sentinels could not be withstood. The unbendable cannot be broken. Ooh, I learned the Korvax word for pattern, and now I learned the Korvax word for loop. Very thematic words I'm learning today. Alright, last planetary chart, and then I have to go buy more. sort of had a thought that like the Korvax are almost like pets of the Atlas. It's weird. I just had this weird vision of like the Korvax being basically sea monkeys. You never got deep into the lore? Yeah, there's a lot there. I was hoping to find more about the and I don't expect to find it with the Ancient Plaques, but at some point I want to look more into the Aerons. Because they have something to do with the Sentinels. I think they might have been Sentinels at some point. I need to figure out where to dig up certain lore. But for now, I'm just kind of like checking this off my list so that I can have it all documented. Brilliant light erupts from the ancient marker. It encircles me, engulfing my mind with the memory and voices of the Korvax echoes. The dreams of entities who once worshipped here become my own. The cult of the Atlas drew forces within the Gek to the stations of the Atlas. The first spawn could not prevent it. Arrogant ambition yielded to newfound reason. Stone by stone, the Gek dominion crumbled. My knowledge of the Korvax convergence increases. Yeah, I honestly, if you... I do have a stream where I chase it directly and, you know, read all of it aloud. It should be on my YouTube channel, my VOD archive. Check out my YouTube channel. There it is. I have voice commands for a lot of stuff. But yeah, I did one where I was chasing the boundary failure buildings and learned about the character Telemon, and that's where like a lot of the wilder stuff happens. I could be wrong on a few details in that lore, and I'll like freely admit that I don't know everything, and I'm still kind of piecing all of it together. But there's kind of a lot to unpack there. The other ones are the derelict space stations that you can find in uninhabited systems. If you have the Atlas pass to go back into the back rooms, lol. No, into the back of the station, there's a terminal that gives you memories of the Atlas itself. And that gets a little wild. Yeah, they're all saved in my catalog. I could probably pull them up right now. So other history. So the boundary failure stuff. And they have titles for each entry. They started doing that at some point in one of the updates. Yeah, it took a while because you have to go to a planet where they exist. You have to find a planet where you can find those big ring structures. You've probably seen them if you played enough. But you have to basically just stay there, stay in atmosphere, and just keep scanning. And if a building pops up, go to it. It'll probably be one of those rings because you're probably on a planet that doesn't have anything else. Um, I read through the Sentinel Pillar stuff. That stuff gets a little weird. And this is where, you know, it talks about the voice of the hive. Like these messages are coming from the voice of the hive. You learn a tiny bit about Laylaps. I'm thinking that the next update, or whenever we finish the core for the expedition, it'll have something to do with the Sentinel Pillars. New Beginnings. Yeah, New Beginnings is the stuff in the derelict freighters. Yeah, I mean, if you want some wild statements coming out of this game, the boundary failures are where to go. Because you learn about the character Telemon and what happened to them. I won't spoil it here, but I did do a whole stream on it. Alright, so we're checking here for exosuit upgrade charts. That's not what I want. Okay. How's the multi-tool? Eh. What about you? Components? Oh, nice. Hey, there we go. Oh, he only has 2?
Product received.
Buy that too.
Product received.
But like, I'm assuming you finished the main story and you know, like, the broader lore. It's sort of funny. I remember someone on Facebook called the Atlas an existential raspberry, and I'm just like, you know, I can see why you would find it annoying. I mean, on some level, the Atlas, I think if I spent way too long with the Atlas, I would find it annoying too, but on some level, I also, like, really pity the Atlas. No. I'm not giving you stuff.
Hostile ships approaching.
I thought the Korvax were supposed to be the peaceful ones. I'm getting attacked so often here. Get back here. There we go. I gotta sell all these pirate transponders. The Gex say gimme, the Vy'Keen say death, and the Korvax make no sense.
Hostile ships defeated.
Yeah, it's... Oh man. The lore in this game, like, if you really start deep diving into it, it's really... really compelling. So, I mean, I mentioned it earlier, but, like, as sort of an overview, just from reading all these plaques especially, let's see. I have these. Trading post. Let's try the trading post. The, and this is, you know, the original No Man's Sky lore. The Vy'Keen Herc saw a vision of, or were given a vision of the Traveler, basically like a messianic figure, by one of the monoliths. But at some point, the other Vy'Keen, Null, who himself had a lot of followers, challenged Herc on that message. And the followers of Null feel that Null is actually the one that got the vision, and that Herc was jealous and tried to, like, steal his thunder. But a war ensued between them, and after that war, the Sentinels were like, no, no, no. What did I do? Whoops. I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, the Sentinels were like, no, 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 no war, no violence. So the Sentinels, in great numbers, tried to invade and destroy the Vy'Keen. The Vy'Keen went to war with the Sentinels for so long that they were preoccupied when the Gek, being the Napoleonic little shits that they are, decided to invade the Korvax, mine their planet for resources, and then, you know, conquer the galaxy through that. But they, you know, as we're seeing in the current lore that I'm reading, the Gek couldn't hold their empire, and also the Korvax did something to them to change them into traitors instead of conquerors. Oh, well, this is awkward. Not seeing navigation data in the shop list. Where'd you go? Come back. Oh, maybe I'll talk to that one. Sir. Yeah, he doesn't have any. I mean, Starship launch fuel will be helpful.
Product received.
I'll grab some tritium too.
Product received.
Yeah, I don't remember if you can get it from stations either. Well, let's see. Let's see if I can get enough to finish with what I have. Do I really only have 2?
Product received.
Well, we can get a little closer.
Technology recharge.
The wiki doesn't specify, it just says galactic trade terminals. Suppose I could warp from system to system through the portals and just kind of keep checking them. Or I could maybe check one of my bases that has a trade terminal. Maybe you can buy them on bases. You know what I keep forgetting to do? I need to set up a base computer, because apparently there's a bunch of lore in the base computer as the base computer is starting to like decrypt itself or whatever. Yeah, apparently there's a bunch of lore each time it does that. The strange stone marker imparts the wisdom of the Korvax echoes to those who desire it. I do not know what dialect it speaks, yet somehow I understand the story of those who once worshipped here. The Gek stood in the shadow of the Atlas interface. It did not open. It did not speak. Yet the first spawn felt awe. They felt their insignificance at the center of an unending universe. It was improbable. Yet within infinity, all things remain possible. The Gek changed. The diminishment had begun. The diminishment? This is, like, very interesting that, like, it's not that they were directly changed, but that they just lost the will to fight. Like, they met something that was so impossibly greater than them that they were just like, oh, well, I guess we'll never be that. So whatevs. But the Gek were, I mean, if I can just outright say it, and now I know that this isn't even the wildest thing in this game, or wildest bit of lore in this game, but there is a currency in this game called nanites that's used for technology, and it's essentially nanomachines. You can see the logo up here. My cursor is kind of under it. For those of you that aren't watching, it's sort of a rectangle with legs, and they're basically nanomachines. And you can, I think they appear as like kind of almost like a viscous liquid, but like you know, full of tiny little buggies, and they will go in and they will alter things. And what happened was that the Korvax, in their enslavement, at some point infiltrated the Gek spawning pools on, I think Valeron is their homeworld, and injected a bunch of nanites into the spawning pools. And those nanites gene edited the unborn Gek that were yet to be spawned, and made them traitors, and sort of redirected their like conqueror ways so that they would become traitors instead. thereafter, like they lost complete interest in conquest. Like that generation onward lost interest in conquest, and they even yeah, I do know. I've been holding out. But they lost interest in conquest, and they don't even want to really examine their history. I think, and you see it in some of the NPCs, they like express deep regret for how the first spawn behaved, how their ancestors behaved. I think, yeah, the construction overseer in your base is like, my people were very harsh to the Korvax. All right. Whispers spill from the from the sharp edges of the artifact, recounting the dreams and memories of the Korvax echoes in my mother tongue. The unspeaking, unmoving Atlas interface inflicted an insignificance upon the Gek emissaries that showed them their role within the expanse of infinity. It forced recognition of their true place in a limitless universe. The Gek saw their folly, their heads bowed in shame for their miscalculations they had wrought. But yeah, I mean, it's, you know, in the grand scheme of this game, it is kind of surface level lore. It does take you a little while to get to that point. And it's kind of minor again, it's sort of surface level, and it's also kind of minor in the grand scope of this game. Oh, right, my life support was the thing that was lower. All right, so I need to find... I need to find some navigation data. Paleontological did? Oh, that. Abandoned building, transmission tower, observatory. There's a trading outpost somewhere. Maybe on another planet. Okanitsuki, welcome in. Let's try another minor settlement. I could try my freighter too. I might be able to buy navigation data from that. Yes, this planet is called Head. In case you haven't noticed, the name generation for this game will sometimes name things the goofiest stuff. So I didn't manually name it Head. It's just it's just what it's called. All right. Salvage data. I'll take another one of those, I guess. What about you? Really? Where's the... There it is. Yeah, at some point, I mentioned this earlier, but I went through all of the planetary archives and read through all of that lore as well. And that was a much more tedious endeavor because there's each species has a list of entries in their systems for the planetary archives, and when you interact with them, my god. Alright, the screen shake is getting a little much. Oh, there.
Hostile scan detected.
Another one? But yeah, it'll basically choose from a list of about 10 of them, and it chooses them at random, and it doesn't remove the ones that you found already. So I ended up going back and forth across the system, or each system, to collect those. And they're like, yep, read that one already. Yep, read that one already. There we go. Hostile ships defeated. Trading post detected. I guess I'll try the planetary archive because that might have something. One of the weirder ones from that was that they have, I think they call it an observer. When a new Korvax is born, an observer is invited to witness it, and then the observer is there to basically watch them develop as a Korvax entity. And at some point, part of the process, one of the rites of passage, is for that new Korvax entity to kill the observer. And the observer's not supposed to know about it. And it's a strange echo of something that the Atlas does. It's very weird. Greetings, Entity. Knowledge Archive Ikung is Tushkanal to all but Korvax. Rosia Krom's speech. The Korvax archive is intended only for its own species. Ancient audio equipment drones in a low frequency, seemingly expecting a voice command. Traveler. Archive access granted. Decrypt. The archive has been changed, distorted from its original purpose as a place of peace. The entries here hum with a distant corruption. Prior Empire had the logic, Remove Korvax entity through alteration of metallic appearance to anonymous flesh. Flesh generated by appearance modification device. Machine just like Korvax. Zint Echo first to override system. Initiated change to first spawn appearance. Mimics their ways. Slew. Devoured fellow Korvax in the waves of Halikan. Even now, we learn the new logic. Even a cruel world could be understood. Even hate can be manipulated. We will not lose ourselves again. I probably read that very differently last time, but I thought there was, let's see, local information repository. Welcome, visitor entity, to this information repository for planet Corpus Obeok. Corpus Obeok historical databanks indicate several local sites of Korvax cultural significance. Directions are available. Dispense planetary chart. Analyzing topography, triangulating coordinates. Printing. Complete. Artifact chart, nice. How about you? Oh, you're from the guild. I don't have standing with them. Okay. Nothing of real significance here for what I'm doing. Let's check out the paleontological dig. I'm not sure how to enunciate that one. Paleontology, paleontological.
Technology recharge.
Oh dear, I might be running out of tritium. God, I feel much better now that I've had some time to stream. Might as well say it. Comment, like, subscribe, follow, all of that good stuff. Be sure to follow me if you want notifications when I go live, which is usually on the weekends, but once in a while I go live on the weekday. Is there anything? Browse fossil archive. Oh, neat. You can display fossils if you wanted to set up like a museum or something. Dirt. I don't see a chart thingy. Oh well.
Incoming storm.
Normally on the weekends, if I'm not doing stuff with the Michael Bryan community, you will find me playing some Divinity Original Sin 2 until I get that game done. I'm hoping to have that finished by September because a lot of games are coming out. I'm very hopeful that I can return to Valheim, although that might replace this game as my like survival buildy game. I may not be doing as much lore wise in that game, but it'll just be a vibe. It'll be fun. I'm a huge fan of Valheim. I've probably got like 1,000 or so hours into it. Not maybe quite as much as I have in this game, because this game has been out for much longer. Let's try this observatory. But I love the building system in that game. I love the challenge of it. I love the options you have with, 16-point rotation. And I've been playing it since before Mistlands, so I got to see Mistlands get at it, and then Ashlands. I haven't actually cleared the Ashlands in it yet, because everyone I end up playing with doesn't really want to do combat. Clipping. Grab this.
Thermal protection.
Ooh. Sorry. There's no trade terminal in here. That's fine. $3908. 3908. 8390. Let's see what this shows me. Maybe something cool. Oh. But I thought I already knew what that was. Ancient ruin. Ancient ruin.
Weather update. Storm clearing.
I guess Enshrouded releases in the fall at some point. Wakiel's Falls. Yeah, Enshrouded's 1.0 is sometime in the fall. And I've played the hell out of that game too. I haven't played the more recent updates, but when it first was in early access, and then I think when they added the swamp, and then also the mountains. Struggling to remember the names of these places, but also very good game. I love the building in that for different reasons. I feel like you have more material options and more aesthetic options, but you're still kind of limited to voxels. Whereas Valheim, you have the 16-point rotation of materials, so you can build more circularly without it feeling kind of pixely or voxely. Voxels being three-dimensional pixels, like Minecraft. Cute.
Hostile ships approaching.
Hostile ships approaching. I should have known that would happen. Gotcha. What was I gonna say? I do feel that Enshrouded has much better combat, and it is a much more peaceful game for building in. You're not regularly raided like you are in Valheim. And you can turn that off in Valheim, but I prefer to like leave. I prefer to play games in the more normal, the most default state, unless I've played it before, and then I might increase the difficulty. I generally don't go into like peaceful or passive anymore. That, you know, there was a time where I might have, but I think I've reached a point where I'm like, I want to know what their idea of the most balanced version of this is, and I want to know that I can at least clear that. I generally won't mod or anything either, because yeah, I want to know kind of like what did the developers have in mind when they made this game? What is the experience that they've curated for me? Don't know why I checked that. I think my multi-farm has... Yeah. My multi-farm has a trade terminal. Maybe that'll have navigation data. Ooh, OBS does not like me loading a new system. Okay. Nope. Where's my ship? Oh. Mystery Bee, you're stuck in the ground. How are we gonna fix this? I mean, I can fix it, but why? Generate clip.
Thermal protection falling.
It's goofy. Okay. Don't want that. Minor settlement. Scan for other stuff. Okay, sorry, I got lost in thought there again. Nope. What about you? Sir, do you have... Navigation data. You don't? What good are you?
Ground protection falling.
Alright, let's try the trading post.
Extreme night temperature detected.
But yeah, it's sort of. So I'm thinking about how the how these plaques are written, and how there are discrepancies between them and other parts of the lore. And I mean, these are the memories of, you know, broadly of the Korvax, just sort of a coalescence of that, or whatever race you happen to be studying. That's a beautiful science vessel. I like that. Nice symmetry, sir. Too bad it's a Class C.
Ground protection falling.
Yeah, oh well. Yeah, I do like the look of that.
Temperature levels stabilizing.
Yeah, it sort of feels like the,
Ground protection falling.
the memories themselves are a little unreliable. They're a nice overview. But it does stand to reason that what the Korvax did to the Gek would be a very secret mission that not a lot of them would know about. So they have maybe a false understanding that the Gek met the Atlas and were humbled by it. Even though we know from later lore that that is not the case. Oh, that's nice. All right. Three should be good. Maybe that'll get us to the end. Wakilos Falls. Planet Head. Nothing happening here. What was I upgrading? Was it this? No. I don't remember. There it is. This agricultural thingy. Bioshed. Upgraded to Class B. Yeah, let's upgrade that. Why not? Ship, ship. Alright, Mystery B. Let's go finish this lore. Man, just chewing through these asteroids. Okay. Alien artifact where? There we go. We're getting there. Lights burst from the obelisk. They passed through me, each a whispered Korvax secret buried for millennia deep within its rock. The cult of the Atlas took hold as the first spawn of the Gek crumbled. The diminishment was at its apex. Endless expansion turned to dust. Eons of aggression receded. The Gek saw new solutions and the Korvax became free. The miscalculations of the past paved way for the discovery of newfound balance. All right. Yeah, so it really is just glossing over the fact that the Korvax did that directly. Which is fine. You know, maybe that's just the history that they want known, whether or not it's the truth. Maybe it's not fine. It's kind of hard to say. It is a fictional universe after all. But given that this is from the perspective of the oppressed. Although, you know, maybe they don't want it known. Maybe they don't want a Gek. Maybe they don't want the Gek to come across the truth of their change. But it seems like it's common knowledge in the lore now. But when these monoliths were left, who knows? These ancient plaques, rather. I hear the distant voices of the Korvax entities who once worshipped here. As they whisper, words written into my own language glow faintly on the monument. The echoes want to be heard. The low-spawn Gek turned on their leaders. Their first spawn were cast out, ripped from their spawning pools and cast into the dust. Their lamentations curdled the air. The wisdom of the Korvax and the Atlas prevailed. So that's that's interesting. Yeah, you know, a new generation of Gek. Casting out the old. How topical. Those damn freighters warped in and now I can't pulse. There we go. Let's see. Sorry, lost in thought there again. Next one. The ancient marker hums at a frequency that burrows deep into my being, filling me with the voices of the Korvax echoes. The entities of the Korvax are free. Free to study the Atlas, free to praise the Sentinels, free to aid the travelers if probability will allow. Korvax and Gek will begin anew, equal in standing, united in the eternal search for balance and understanding. You have learned the Korvax word for amazing. All right. Unfortunately, I am out of navigation data again.
Technology recharge.
Here's something. Is there no landing spot? No parking? Whatever. Another one. It's a beacon. So I mentioned earlier the boundary nodes, or the boundary failure buildings. The wiki said that they appear with roughly the same. Oh, hello, autophage. They appear with roughly the same frequency as beacons. Not a whole lot here. There's that. I don't have any void modes on me. Constructed by the autophage, this technology package is the result of a high degree of engineering and improvisation. As a one-of-a-kind piece of repurposed technology, its exact effect upon suit performance is hard to determine prior to installation. Okay. So it's a random thingy. Arrival in 1 hour. We're not going that far. Time for a nip break. It would be a little silly if, like, you could consume nip. I know that, like, the player character is always a traveler entity, no matter what they look like, but you're late to the party, but you finally bought No Man's Sky 2 days ago? You're obsessed? Nice. Well, welcome to the galaxy. A what break? Herb, welcome in. I might... Actually, Throttle Jockey, since you brought it up, so I haven't changed the layout of my freighter even when I bought new ones. But when I got my first freighter, you're gonna laugh when you see this. It came with something pre-installed that you might find pretty funny. A giant nip farm for Geknip. I'm like, why are we growing narcotics in this ship? Maybe, yeah. Oh, we'll open a dispensary in a pirate system, maybe. Because I think the authorities will sometimes scan for it and get mad about it. I can't remember how sus it is, how illegal it is in terms of the galaxy. Herb, I see we're playing Control. What is that and how is it? I've heard that title before. It's new, right? Let's see. Let's go that way. And yeah, Nocturnal Llama, welcome in. I'm currently doing some of the original lore for No Man's Sky. I'll try to adjust what I say so I'm not too spoilery, but I am getting into kind of like the later entries for the Korvax lore. Oh, controllers from 2019, narrative action RPG, single player focus, sci-fi-ish. That's cool. Why have I heard of it recently then? Maybe you brought it up. If you've read SCP, that was a huge inspiration. Yeah, I have read some SCP. You've watched many videos on YouTube. Good to know. I am struggling to find. Oh, Control Resonant. Let's see. See how this multi-tool is. Class B. Don't want it. But yeah, Nocturnal, I'm doing like the original like launch day lore for No Man's Sky right now. And I'm finding that they've actually retconned some things since writing these parts or releasing these parts. So it won't be super spoilery. And it's hard to say if it's like retconned or if it's just that they'd always planned for it to be sort of hidden until later updates. But if you really deep dive into the lore, you get some wild stuff, some real existential stuff. Oh, you just finished the main storyline? Okay, so you know the big one. Yeah. As part of my channel, when I'm streaming this, I normally will be chasing the lore entries. So like the stuff that would eventually end up in your collected knowledge. Ancient Plaques, Planetary Archives, your visits to the Atlas, that kind of thing. The autophage stuff. I probably can chase more of the autophage stuff. Yeah, these boundary failures. If you find a planet that has boundary failures and you just kind of keep hovering around and keep collecting those, the lore from that is wild. Get specific charts. Can get a few more of these.
Product received.
And then if you find a derelict space station, if you have an Atlas Pass version 3, if you have the Atlas Pass 3, you don't need 1 and 2 anymore, and it won't be consumed when you use it. And if you go into a system that's uninhabited, you'll find the Atlas Passes. Yeah, they're not hard to make in the grand scheme of things. But if you find a system that's uninhabited, you'll find a space station, and it's actually the original layout of the space stations from back in 2016 when this game first launched. Except it's derelict, and there's like that weird living goo everywhere. But in the back of those, there's a door that you need an Atlas Pass 3 for. And behind that door, you can find some of the lore entries, and that's some really wild stuff too. Stuff relating to the Atlas. I've done streams on it. There are probably YouTube videos out there that like compile it more neatly. I'm sort of like streaming it and reacting to it myself because this is my first time actually going this deep into the lore. Yeah, there's a lot. You'll have to upgrade your ship to be able to reach the red, blue, and green systems. You're a collector, you need to find something for completionist mode. Well, like, the lore in this game is a great one to go for. And it actually, like... It actually tells you your progress in the journal, too. You hate reading? Aw. Brilliant light erupts from the ancient marker. It encircles me, engulfing my mind with the memories and voices of the Korvax echoes. The dreams of entities who once worshipped here become my own. Yeah, it takes a while to unlock the purple systems. The coming of the travelers is possible, as all things are, yet the chances are infinitesimal. We watch the skies nonetheless. If they do not come here, they will exist somewhere, and our kind, or a kind like us, will welcome them. Within the chaos of the infinite, we must cling to the probable. With me reading on stream? Yeah. I'm glad, because I know that you have the same ship as my mystery bee. I love my mystery bee. I named it the mystery bee, but because Sean Murray did the tweet with the bees, and I'm like, yeah, the exotics are always S-class, I'm pretty sure.
Incoming storm.
Yeah, Sean Murray was tweeting bees, and then this landed in front of me. I'm like, it's fate. It's a sign. You just found out there are living ships as well. Yeah, exotic and living are always S-class. I do have my living ship. The quest for that does take a while, and when you get close to finishing it, make sure you turn off multiplayer, because that otherwise will cause you some heartache. The strange stone marker imparts the wisdom of the Korvax echoes to those who desire it. I do not know what dialect it speaks, yet somehow I understand the story of those who once worshipped here. All things must happen. All things will occur. Somewhere, elsewhere, or as part of the hereafter. Now ends the testament of the Korvax. That might have been the last one, which is good timing, because I'm coming up on the end of my usual stream time. Yeah, living ships are really pretty, but I don't end up really using it all that often. You did a solo expedition day, Broodmothers ×3, and you aced it? Nice. If you want, well, let me get to the next landing point, which might just tell me that I've finished. Okay. Um, so did you do like the anomaly mission for like for Quicksilver? I should do the anomaly missions and get more Quicksilver. I don't know. I'm not as motivated by currency. Yeah. You can actually, if you didn't know this already, you can do the expedition and switch back and forth between your current save and the expedition save. It'll make you start over, but it'll give you a bunch of like it'll give you a bunch of stuff to sort of boost your progress. Because what the expeditions do is like showcase the new content. Normally, like with the last one, you would be able to, and you can do it on this one, but normally you would be able to start a new file from your expedition file and basically just kind of keep continuing with that file. But this expedition doesn't actually finish until maybe next month. I mean, probably next month because we're near the end of the month now. So, like, starting up all the main missions and everything. Granted, you already have a save file that's already through the main story, so there really wouldn't be much point in starting over. But this save actually did start on the last expedition. I'm on a newer Steam account, so I made this Steam account for streaming. Oh, here we go. The historical structure is silent. The testament of the Korvax has been voiced. Okay, so now I've finished all of the Ancient Plaques. So living ships are good. I mean, they're cool. They're pretty. I have mine right here. Fucking hate time-gated shit. Been playing for about 7 years. Haven't touched the expedition much since you completed the required 3 missions. I'll pop in on it just once in a while. It did assign me Weaver, and I just happened to luck into the winning team. I don't play now that I'm in school and working full time. So work full time and school half time. I have almost no time to play anymore. This is kind of a rare day for me now. But yeah, I'll sometimes pop in and do the expedition. It doesn't take very long, I guess. I don't know, for funsies. But yeah, a lot of people are kind of disillusioned with it. I'm pretty disappointed in it too, but I still kind of figure, well, might as well try and move it along a little bit. Got 14 mega nip farms and large 7 large nip farms and 4 small ones in your main save. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so I've got my living ship. The one thing, Nocturnal, that's really fun once you unlock it. It can get annoying, but it is really fun. Is the Minotaur. So you can unlock this as just a vehicle, but at some point, if you do a quest line in the anomaly, it's at Iteration Tethys. And if you keep doing that quest line, eventually you'll unlock an autonomous computer that'll go in the Minotaur's, one of the tech slots. And that'll allow the Minotaur to move around and actually fight alongside you. So it's a little extra firepower. You do have to kind of keep maintaining it, though. It'll get broken often during combat. But he does like to like follow you around and causes a lot of screen shake with his steps, so I tend to have him shut off. You've seen them in videos? Yeah. They're super fun. And that's one of them. There's a lot of cool stuff that you can unlock in this game. They've added so much to this game. And even the stuff that was in the game originally has changed pretty drastically too. A lot of the UI has changed. Space stations are a lot bigger and more interesting. The anomaly is enormous now. It used to be just a tiny little room.
Ground protection falling.
Nice place for a forever base. Yeah. Well, you're guessing you need to farm some items. Not sure what to farm though. Yeah. Let me go to my Ah! Well, I timed that well. As awkward as that landing was. Let me go to my runaway mold farm, in case you don't know about that. Right, called for. Your Gek as well? I mean, the Gek are adorable. I mean, they're basically the villains of the story, but they're so cute. Oh, all my settlements have stuff to do. Let's see. My bases. Moldy base 2. Now, maybe you've seen this in videos and guides and that sort of thing, but this is one of the most helpful things that you can find in this game. And you don't need to make a big elaborate base around it. I'm gonna go farther away. Yeah, you can have... I don't know how many bases you're allowed to have, but the number's high. Because you can set up mines. Like this is also a salt mine. There's the depots for collecting it. But if you see this on your scanner, it's the yellow icon with 3 stars, and if it says Curious Deposit, and this is one of the biggest deposits I've ever seen of them. but you'll find these, yeah, you'll find these orbs, these balls. And they will roll away when they're mined or if they take any damage. And you'll get runaway mold from them. Runaway mold refines at a rate of, at least in the personal refiner, it refines at a rate of 5 to 1 nanites. And you see how I'm getting hundreds per ball here, per deposit. So if you're wanting nanites, this is like the, as far as I know, the fastest way to get them. You can also sell technologies that you get while doing stuff or fighting sentinels and that sort of thing. That's a decent way, but this is, like, I think the easiest and most peaceful way. You just kind of have to set it up first. But you only really need one of these. And the nice thing about this is that anytime you load into a planet, it'll reset any harvestable things like minerals, trees, that sort of thing, including these, which is part of why I have the portal here, because now I can portal away, come back, and it'll all be perfectly reset. I can just gather more of the mold and just keep doing that over and over. The only thing is that you'll want to do that if you put something in a refiner. Like, you might be tempted to make a refiner on site, like one of the stationary refiners. You can make a large refiner. You might be tempted to do that and put all the runaway mold in there, because I think it might refine faster, or it won't consume, if you set up solar panels or whatever, it won't consume carbon to refine that way. But in my experience, and maybe they patched this, but I don't think so, if you leave the system and then come back, or if you leave the area and then come back, it'll unload anything that was in the refiner, and it'll basically delete anything that was in there. So having the backpack refiner, the personal refiner, you can have the regular one, but the Mark II is a little better. Will save you from stuff getting deleted when you're teleporting in and out of systems. But yeah, one of the best tips I can give anyone is to find a runaway mold farm. I usually find them on yeah, so if you get enough nanites, you can actually buy it from the anomaly. If you've been to the anomaly, you've probably seen where you can unlock building pieces. It's in the exosuits technologies. I don't think it's especially expensive or anything. You can actually use that area to bypass a few quests too, but I personally, and I went through all of it on stream too, I personally prefer to go and do the base specialist quest lines, because their stories are actually kind of interesting. I think the Korvax one, especially the scientist, he has a very good story, but so does the exocraft specialist. And through that, you can unlock most of the exocraft, except for the I think except for the Pilgrim, the motorcycle one. Yeah, the Pilgrim.
Protection
but he'll give you like race challenges to get from your base to a point on the planet using only your exocraft, and it can be kind of fun. I don't remember if he unlocks the Minotaur, but the you can get that in the anomaly too. But yeah, so that should be it for me. I'm gonna hop in my ship and exit to save my game. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for hanging out and chatting and all that. As always, especially for those of you on YouTube, comment, like, subscribe, and come follow me over on Twitch so you get notifications when I go live, which will usually be on the weekends, where I'm currently playing Divinity Original Sin 2. If I go live on the weekdays, I'll probably be playing this or another survival game, but probably this because I'm still kind of unpacking a lot of the lore here. On Saturday, this Saturday, as I mentioned earlier in the stream, I will be playing the new Star Fox. I got a Switch 2 and a capture card specifically for that game. I am so excited for it. It's Star Wars and Top Gun and Independence Day and Gundam and all these other things. The whole lot of inspiration went into that game. It's a very short game, so we'll probably get through a couple of playthroughs during the stream. I'm so excited, and you can look up the trailer. It looks absolutely spectacular. Here, let me put myself back into chatting. There's the button. Hello. I didn't realize I was offset so bad. Whoops. Yeah, very excited for Star Fox. And it's a good segue off of No Man's Sky, because No Man's Sky is an extremely open-ended game, whereas Star Fox is also spaceships and piloting and planet hopping, but it is an on-rails shooter. Sorry, an on-rails space fighter type thing. It's very Star Wars coded. If you can think of like the Star Wars Death Star trench run, where they're going down kind of a linear hallway. It's sort of like that. It's very cinematic though. The presentation in the original game was very advanced and very masterful. Considering just how short that game is, you can actually beat that game within an hour if you're, without losing any lives and maybe skipping cutscenes. I won't be skipping any cutscenes in the new game. I think they're going to expand a whole lot on the story, so it might extend it a little bit, but they can only extend it so much without it being, 3/4 of it being cutscenes, and that would just be a movie at some point. But yeah, I'm very excited for that game. The characters are very well loved. They've appeared in Super Smash Bros. And that kind of thing. Fox actually appeared in the newer Mario movie, which was a very fun cameo, and I guess that was partly to promo the new game. But yeah, I will be playing that at 12 p.m. Central Daylight Time or 10 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. So come hang out. We will play some Star Fox. I will absolutely love just playing through that game in all of its majesty. I was watching one of my favorite, YouTubers originally, Markup Meatball. He's a former opera singer that covers video game music from a more emotional perspective. Can I shout him out? Maybe I'll shout him out. So Marco Meatball. Yeah, he was in Just Chatting for the end of his stream. He's a much bigger content creator than I am, but he was playing through the original Star Fox on an actual Nintendo 64. He managed to get a capture card that's compatible with the N64. So he's been playing. He played that. He also played through Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, and he's just a great guy. But anyway, yeah, I got to like enjoy him going through that game for the first time, the original Star Fox 64 for the first time, and it got me. it got all the nostalgia bubbling up for me again. So I'm just so excited to play this game again. But yeah, and then on Sunday, I probably won't be streaming because Minneapolis Pride is this weekend. I will be missing day one of that for Star Fox, but day two with the parade and everything on Sunday, I will be attending that. Hopefully, I'll find someone to go with. Otherwise, I'll have to figure out parking. But yeah, very, very excited for that as well. Am I bleeding? Oh, it's not serious. That can stay off screen. But then the following weekend, I will be back to Divinity Original Sin 2. I may get some No Man's Sky time in as well. So yeah, come hang out, come follow, and we will have some good spacefaring time. I hope to see you there.